Most people are only familiar with one way on how to make money, and it's generally the slowest path to become wealthy. Today, I'm going to talk to you about 7 different ways that you can actually earn and how you can start using them today. What we're going to be going through are 7 different income streams or different ways to actually earn income, starting all the way from the generic 9 to 5 or employee wage income to all sorts of different passive ways to earn income for you and your family. So let's get started. Number one at the top of the list, that's earned and active income, where you're having to trade time in order to make money. This is everything from, again, becoming an employee, working salary or an hourly wage that you're earning from an employer. It could also be if you're an Uber driver or someone that does hourly type gigs where you might be a freelancer on Fiverr or some other platform. You perform a service like graphic design or some sort of consulting work. You put in a number of hours that you may bid the job for. You perform the job and then you provide the outcome to your either employer or your customer. Now, all of this takes time in order to deliver, and so that's why it is the most active form of income that you can earn. What are some pros and cons about this? It can be very predictable, especially if you're working a 9 to 5 job. It's immediate in terms of payment. So you usually perform the job, you provide the outcome, and then again, your customer or employer then provides you with that paycheck back. Cons are it's very time limited, meaning you're only able to earn as much money as you have time based on the rate that you're charging. And you only have 24 hours in a day. So at some point, you do have to sleep. You can't go without sleep for extended periods of time. And it is also taxed at the highest tax bracket when you are looking at your taxes. Now, this may be specific to the US, but generally, this type of income is taxed to the highest where it reduces your amount of take-home income the most before you're then able to spend that on certain things. So that is number one and often the most familiar to the audience here. So let's move on to the second form. This is building a business system that pays you in the immediate and long term. This could be some sort of e-commerce business, like a drop shipping type business, or some sort of service business that you've built where you have a system in place where you can acquire clients. It could be like coaching or plumbing, or if you run your own private practice as a doctor, it could be a digital product. The nice thing is you're able to build a system around your income itself. It can be scalable as you can outsource some of the work that's involved. And you can also build digital systems to help provide some of this stuff like leads or, um, managing your finances, whatever. And it can often create the most freedom for you. Um, those are a couple of the pros. Cons are it can sometimes be risky if you don't have product market fit. There's also often upfront investment time where you're not earning income immediately in both the form of time and financial. Depending on the type of business system that you're building, it can be either a very big upfront cost if you're buying into, say, like a franchise type system, or it can be time heavy if you need to learn the skills in order to actually get things off of the ground with your business system. Um, with this, I'd often recommend buying a coach or a system that already works in your particular industry to help expedite the time for you from going from ground zero, where you're doing a lot of investment, to then turning your first dollar in profit. Now let's move on to income stream number 3. This is investment income, where you take profits, either, again, it can be from your paycheck, from income source number 1, your active form of income, or a business system, or some of the others, where you invest it into a company or a real estate portfolio or real estate in general. Could also be cryptocurrency. I know that's popular recently with the investment market, where you can earn dividends from investing with these companies or these products. You can also earn capital gains when you buy something at a certain price and then you sell it later at a higher price. That's called a capital gain on your investment. You can also earn real estate rental income, which we'll get into rental income in a little bit. But this is where, again, you're taking financial resources, investing it in something with the expectation that you're going to make a positive return on that investment. It's great because it's very passive in potential. The which is the pro. The con is you have to have the financial resources in order to do so. You have to have capital, whether you're borrowing, or most people don't like to risk borrowing, and so they use their own capital to invest into something, and often being educated enough on the investment to evaluate whether or not it is a good investment and whether or not it does have a long-term growth potential or the type of income you're trying to get from that investment, again, whether dividends or capital gains. So that's investment income. But you can do that today. You can download a Robinhood account. You could buy stocks on Robinhood. You could invest into a real estate property. You can put some money into a cryptocurrency. All of those things are options for you today. And the great way to start is actually just taking a small sum of money that you have, save it from what you're already earning, your already active way of making income, or I should say established way of making income, and put it into an investment to start learning this. Even if it's $10 a month, $25 a month, you want to try and grow that over time, but eventually you'll learn the skill of evaluating those investments and then be able to become more skilled at it over time and be able to make smarter decisions with those investments. Again, that's number 3. Next is royalty and licensing income. This is where you're creating what's called intellectual property. You often see this in the entertainment industry in the form of movies or music or writing books. And all of these things are things that you can do. You can produce them with online technology and resources. There was a lot of overhead cost in the prior century to performing and producing some of this stuff, but with recent technology, the barrier to entry for a lot of this stuff has reduced quite a lot from a cost perspective. So it is a viable option for a lot of people nowadays, where it may have not been even 20 years ago. The great thing about this is it's a long-term passive income potential, where you create this once, and then so long as someone wants to use this product, whether, again, it's a book or music or a movie or some sort of patent or invention that you may have created, if people are wanting to buy it, they have to pay you for that. The downside to this, or the cons, are they're often hard to create, and it's often very competitive in each of these markets. So you have to get really good at them in order to get a very well-established passive income source from some of them. But again, the barrier to entry for them, a lot of this stuff has reduced over the past few decades. So it is a viable option for many people. And if you don't want to create something yourself, number 5 is a great option. It's called affiliate marketing, where you're promoting or selling someone else's product that they've produced. So you don't have to create the product. You're just, say, getting like an affiliate code or a discount code that you promote the product on, say, social media or on Amazon, or however you promote it. You sell the other person's product, and then they'll send you a affiliate check for selling their product, whether it's on a monthly basis, bi-monthly basis, weekly basis, whatever, right? So you establish that partnership with this person who's delivering the product to the actual audience themselves. So it's great because you don't actually have to figure out the product itself. You just have to know the audience and who to promote it to. The cons is you do have to build up that audience, and that's a skill that you have to learn. And you also have to keep their and maintain their trust because you want to provide products that you like. Um, and you also want to build great brand reputation so that people want to continue to follow you. Because if you're just constantly promoting the products all the time, um, that aren't good quality, aren't great, or don't necessarily align with that audience's interests, then you lose brand reputation. Um, but it is a good option. One I've not necessarily tried myself, but a viable option for many. Let's go on to rental income. So this is where you leverage some sort of asset that you have um, in order to rent it out to someone where they exchange, um, again, money to be able to utilize these assets. So the most common one is real estate, right? You're providing either a place for someone to live as a like rental unit in an apartment complex or a house or an Airbnb or a short-term rental. And you buy the property, you fix it up, or you build it, and then someone can live there for however long, and they pay you rent every month. Another form is renting out equipment or tools. This is big in say the farming industry to rent out tools. Um, or another idea, and feel free to steal this. I'm not planning to execute on it, but it's something that I've thought of an idea of is buying a fleet of, say, robo mowers, and you rent them out to people where they pay you a monthly fee where the robot is mowing the customer's lawn, provides the service where they no longer have to do that. But then they're paying you on a monthly basis, and it provides a recurring revenue source for you. So again, that's the pro of it. Cons is you have to upkeep the machines. So in the example of the robo mowers, you have to go get them maintained every once in a while, so that gets added into your costs. The liability, if you do finance some of this stuff, say for example real estate, or if you can't pay for it up front in cash, you've got the liability of paying off the mortgage of that real estate property over time. So just all things that you have to consider when you're trying to, again, acquire assets to then rent out to people to use. So that's number 6. And the last one, number 7, is kind of spin off of the second business system income, where you create some sort of digital product online on some sort of platform and then you sell it as a product or service. You can monetize these things on YouTube. You can create an online course on School, for example, and that's one of the things that I'm doing is building out this financial course for parents to be able to learn about finance and be able to then teach it to their kids as well and pass along the knowledge and skills to create generational wealth for people. You can also create some sort of subscription on, say, like Patreon, whether it's for entertainment or util value. So the great thing about doing something digital is you've got a global footprint. Anyone really that has an internet connection is a potential buyer for your product. It's also passive in nature. So, I mean, you build it once and you may have to iterate on it over time to make it better. But you build it once, you build it right, and you just promote it, and people can buy it, and you don't have to continue to build it over and over again. The con is it requires consistency in building a brand where people find you and then go find your products. But in terms of potential, the online space has a lot of great potential for people because, again, you can build it once, it sits on the internet, anyone can see it that has an internet connection. So this is really a low barrier entry source of income potential for people. So those are the 7. Again, it's active income, building a business system, investing income into other businesses or investment opportunities. Um, and you've got leveraging assets as a rental income source, Digital income is number 7. We've got affiliate marketing, promoting someone else's product, and then royalty income. So those are 7 of the primary sources of income. And here's a tip, bonus tip for all of you. Start with 1. Most people, again, are in the active income space, and that's where many people start. You build a solid foundation there and then branch off into some of these other where it's kind of you then build a foundation in that one as well, and it becomes another stable leg for you. And that's how people become wealthy, how they become, multimillionaires, is they've established well rooted systems or income streams that continue to generate income for them versus sticking with one for an entire foundation. They build a portfolio around themselves with multiple different income streams. So those are your 7 income streams. So all of that said, hit the subscribe button below. I will continue to send out finance and business strategy tips and tricks and knowledge to help people elevate people to build that desired life and financial freedom, really, for anyone in the world.